Hi guys. I am surrounded by my plants today because I'm going to talk about, in my experience, 5 easy plants for the home, whether it's for a beginner or if you're just looking for something reliable to grow that is for sure not going to die on you, in my experience. Um, I said I'm going to talk about 5, and then at the end I'm going to talk about 3 plants in my experience that I cannot grow with any success. So let's get right into it. I'm going to start off by talking about pothos, a very common houseplant. I'm sure most of you have heard of them. Their scientific name is Epipremnum aureum. It's in the Araceae family. So this plant is native to French Polynesia, where in the wild it will grow along the ground until it reaches a tree, and it'll grow up the tree, it attaches itself to the tree, and then their leaves will grow very large, a lot larger than this. So pothos will handle a lot of different light situations. For example, this one prefers a higher light situation because it's got brighter leaves, whereas this jade pothos right here prefers lower light because it has darker leaves, or at least it can tolerate lower light. In fact, I think if this gets too bright light, it'll probably start to get some yellow variegation on the leaves, similar to a golden pothos. As for watering, I would probably, you could underwater this plant and it would be very okay. I usually let mine dry out halfway and then I'll give it a good watering. Um, it doesn't need any specific humidity, perfectly fine in household humidity, basic household. And it likes to be root bound, so that's how it's gonna get all of its vines, its trailing vines. Once it gets root bound, it'll really start to grow, and they can get quite long. I have one in my kitchen that I don't feel like moving my camera to show because it's all the way over there, but it's probably got about 3 feet, 4 feet vines. Yeah, so they're overall a really easy plant. I also really like them because they're very easy to propagate. Here's examples of ones that I've propagated myself. This is a neon pothos, just like this one, and then this is a marble queen. You can either grow them in water. I did that with both of them for a time until they got substantial roots after about a month, and then I just put them right in soil. And they haven't really done too much, but if you look at this one, it's got some babies shooting off right here. So, exciting. Alright, so the next plant I'm going to talk about is right here. This is a Chinese evergreen. I don't exactly know the variety, it's kind of disputed on my Instagram, but we're going to say it's a silver queen. Aglaonema commutatum is their scientific name. And the thing I love about these plants is you can put them anywhere and they will grow, like anywhere. I mean, maybe not like a room with no windows, but like I have mine in a dark corner in my house and it just grows and it's just very prolific. It's a plant, it's the only leafy plant that I know that you can put anywhere and it will grow. So yeah, they are actually native to Asia, as it sounds, with their name, Chinese evergreen, so that's pretty interesting. I actually just learned that recently. But yeah, like I said, they can tolerate low light. In medium light, they will definitely grow much more, but they will still grow in low light. And as for watering, I definitely let them dry out, once again, about halfway, I'd say. And they don't really mind humidity. I don't keep mine near a humidifier, I don't need to. And I would just say watch out for pests because my other one got thrips. It was from another plant, it was near it, but thrips are still attracted to the plant, and then it really just ruined the foliage and it's just not pretty anymore. But this one is still beautiful, so keeping this one far away from the other one. Moving on, I'm going to talk about this right here, very, very common houseplant, Sansevieria, snake plant, mother-in-law's tongue, whatever you want to call it. This variety is a Sansevieria trifasciata. This one has yellow edges. This one right here does not have yellow edges. It's just all green. But this is another plant that can really withstand some low light. It won't exactly grow in low light, but it will stay alive. If you put it in a bright window, then it'll really grow. I keep some in medium light and they'll grow, but they'll get really skinny, but they stay alive. It's not a problem. They're very low maintenance, as I said, and they don't need any specific humidity. Obviously, it's very succulent, so it's not really a big deal. And yeah, overall, really one of my favorite plants. You can just get one if you see it, and it'll grow for sure. Well, stay alive for sure. And then, so those three that I just talked about are ones that can withstand very low light. But the next two that I'm going to talk about are ones that can withstand high light but are very easy. I know a lot of people have low light situations, but when I was first getting plants in my apartment that I lived in, at the time I had these huge windows and it was west facing, and I got so much light. I bought a Dracaena at first and it burned, got very ugly. Had to chop a lot of its leaves off. So these are some examples of ones that, in my experience, would be able to handle that amount of light. The first one I'm going to talk about is one of my favorites. This is Tradescantia. This one is Tradescantia spaciaceae variegata, and it's got beautiful, beautiful foliage. It's got purple underside. It's kind of hard to see in this light, but it really shows through at the top as well. This plant, like I said, prefers higher light, but I would also keep it dry. Pretty easy to do. With most of these plants, I would say err on underwatering. I think that's a much better idea than overwatering. And I would definitely not worry about humidity. It's never a problem with pests, but like I said about underwatering, this plant will definitely rot if you overwater it, so, you know, underwatering is good. Another example of it is this Tradescantia zebrina. Another common name for this plant is wandering Jew. I propagated this myself, so obviously it's not like a full bushy plant, but it grows with 100% success, so I like it. It's got very pretty patterns. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it that well, but nonetheless, very easy plant, very pretty plant. Alright, and then the last one I'm going to talk about is Monstera. So the very common one that I see is Monstera Deliciosa. I have one up in the corner. It's not very impressive because it doesn't have very much split leaves, but one I'll show you right here is Monstera Adansonii, which is a Swiss cheese vine. But Monstera, in high light, they just grow and grow and grow. With this plant, they like to stay moist, maybe less in the wintertime, but I usually give them a good drenching. And they grow in the rainforest in their natural habitat, so they like humidity, but they don't show any signs of, like, you know, browning or anything when they don't get enough humidity, in my experience. So overall really easy, very pretty. This one I recommend more because it seems to grow the holes in its leaves all the time, rather than my Monstera Deliciosa, which doesn't get the holes in its leaves, even though when I first got it, it had holes in its leaves. So, yeah, you win some, you lose some. But anyway, those are my 5 examples of houseplants that are super easy. Pothos, Chinese evergreen, snake plants, Tradescantia or wandering Jew, and Monsteras. And then, so as for plants that do not grow well, in my opinion, ferns. Ferns. I cannot grow ferns for the life of me. I have a humidifier and I'm still giving it a try, and they're not growing very well. An example of a fern is this. This is a staghorn fern. Only have leaves fall off this, never have leaves grow on it. I've killed one of these in the past. I'm probably gonna kill this one. I've had Boston ferns, I've had bird's nest ferns. I've had more than that. I'm blanking on the other ones right now, but just kill them all. I always kill them, but nonetheless they are beautiful, so I always give it a try. If you have success with ferns, please let me know. I'm not really willing to do glass enclosures for my plants. I like them to be free and all over the place, so that's kind of out of the question in my opinion, well, for me. But yeah, ferns don't grow well for me. English ivy. English ivy for me is a breeding ground for spider mites, and I do not like pests. I have over 80 plants, so having one plant with pests is a big deal for me because then it puts other plants at risk. I don't have any examples of English ivy with me because I've killed them all. I've had the variegated, I've had the plain. They need a lot of sunlight, so I'd say if you have a lot of light, it's probably fine, but then again, I'd still say watch out for spider mites because that's just how they always die for me. Beautiful plant though, it's a really nice, you know, urban looking plant to have, so if you guys have any experience with it rather than, you know, it just dying, please let me know. And then finally, a plant that I hear is very easy to grow but does not grow well for me is a peace lily. I have two examples right here. This is a small one. Hanging on, but it's so small, and the leaves just come in very small, and then the old leaves brown, the tips, and on the sides. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see that, but yeah, just always very disappointing plant, and they never flower again. I have another one right here, which is very big, and then very disappointing looking. But yeah, the leaves just brown, and it's very sad. But I really like them, and I would really like to be able to grow them successfully, so yeah, give me any tips if you have them as well. So those are my 3 examples of plants that do not grow well for me. Ferns, any type of fern, English ivy, and peace lilies. So yes, thank you so much for watching my video about basic or easy plants, in my opinion. Let me know any other videos you think I should make because I am blanking on ideas and I only have 3 or I guess 4 now. So yes, I'd love to hear from you guys, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Bye!